further. All right. Today, like I stated earlier, we're going to be discussing about imposter syndrome in tech, and we're going to be talking about how to reclaim our confidence. So, sorry, before are we? Can you see my screen? Please, can you?
Yes, please, you
Yeah.
can.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. All right. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, imposter syndrome, and then we're going to be looking deep, digging deep into it. So, first of all, have you ever felt like you don't deserve your achievement or you don't belong in a particular place? I know that feeling is common. A lot of people have experienced this kind of feeling. So, according to a research or in statistics, statistically, from the little research I conducted, it says that about approximately 70% of of the world population, one one at least once in a while, people have experienced imposter syndrome at some particular points in their lives. And imposter syndrome actually has nothing to do with your gender or maybe your skin color. It affects basically everyone. It does not recognize any kind of person. So it can affect no matter your social skills, no matter your work background, no matter your skill level, your degree, expertise, whatsoever. Imposter syndrome has no class. So now we're going to look at the definition of imposter syndrome. Now, what is imposter syndrome? I decided to narrow it down to make it more, simple. I said imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their skills and accomplishments despite their evidence of success. Now, I'm going to use myself as a very good example. Now, before coming to do this webinar, I was also struggling with imposter syndrome. I was like, okay, can I do this? Am I even sure I can do this? Am I sure I won't make a mistake? That already, like, it's already settling in my mind. And then looking back also at my own career, my career also as well. I've had, you know, a lot of times where I'm sure not just me, I believe everyone here, once in a while, you experience that kind of thing. Like at the beginning of my career journey, especially into tech, because I came from a non tech background. Like my first degree was not in a tech background, but then I had this passion of, wanting to learn more. I had passion to come into tech, so I found myself in software testing, and then I started, leveraging my knowledge in every other aspect of tech. But one of the challenges happened when, okay, maybe when I'm given a particular task to do, and then especially in a situation where the company is a male dominated company, and then I start asking myself, can I do this, or am I able to do this? Are you even sure? Am I, and then I've had this mindset, especially when it even comes to coding. I used to think, oh, coding is only men that can code, you know so I just limited myself, in those areas. But then I realized that all this while I was actually suffering from imposter syndrome. And it happens a lot, a lot of times in in once in a while, not just once in a while, but I believe so many times in our career journey. So, um, the common signs that's on one of the common signs of imposter syndrome, the main common ones I listed four. The first one says feeling undeserving of success. Like you feel like you are a high achieving person. Probably you have this winner mindset. And then all of a sudden you start feeling like you don't really deserve this. you don't, and then you keep wondering why you're feeling that way. That is already, that's even a number one sign of an imposter syndrome. When you feel you don't deserve, even despite the fact that you're working hard, despite the fact that you're trying all your best, you still feel undeserving, then downplaying your achievements, you know, you don't even no matter how many certificates you have obtained, no matter how many the amount of knowledge you've gained, you you don't even like look at your achievement as anything. I mean, that alone, you are already seeing yourself like you're already on the path of having imposter syndrome. And then comparing yourself constantly. Of course, there's always this thing about comparison. You keep comparing yourself. You keep, telling yourself that, oh, this person is doing much more better than me. You don't, once you start doing that already, you already have, those are signs of imposter syndrome. Then fear of failure or being found out. Maybe you're given a particular task, and then you're being maybe you are given a task. Let me use an example. Or you're working with a team, and then you finish doing that work, you're not confident that you've done that work. You start doubting yourself that, oh, um maybe I'm not sure if this thing I'm doing is correct, or I'm not sure if if my supervisor or my team lead will acknowledge this. Already you're already suffering from imposter syndrome. And and then there's this, okay, I took down a little note. I said, if you wonder whether if you ever wonder whether you might have imposter syndrome, ask yourself the following questions. So I just wrote it down. I didn't put in this slide. There's just some little notes I wrote. The common things that you could know, that the questions you can ask yourself if you might have imposter syndrome. The first one I said, do you agonize over even the smallest mistakes or flaws in your work, which is what we talked about here as fear of failure? Do you agonize over the smallest mistakes or flaws in your work? Do you attribute your success to luck or outside factors? Now, this happens a lot. You do something and it comes out well, it comes out great and brilliant. And then instead of you to like praise yourself and say, oh, this thing I just did, it's amazing or it's great, you keep attributing it to, oh, it was just luck. Oh, you're not even attributing it to your own effort. And then, are you sensitive to even constructive criticism? Maybe your supervisor or someone is, there's a difference between when someone is criticizing your work and then constructive criticism, where someone like, okay, you should have done this better, or next time do this like this. Those kind of thing. You start feeling like, oh, this supervisor of mine is saying that, oh, I didn't do this well, I didn't do that well. So the inability for you to accept constructive criticism is a very is a sign that you might be suffering from imposter syndrome. Then, do you feel like you will be inevitably found out as a phony? This simply means, maybe if you didn't do something well, or you didn't do your particular work well, or you know that you're given a task, but maybe that particular task, probably you just needed to tweak something. And if you don't tweak that thing, there could be a mistake. Meanwhile, you know it, but you went ahead and maybe submitted that work, and then you're afraid, oh, I'm going to be found out. That already is a sign that you might be having um imposter syndrome. And then the next one, do you downplay your own expertise even in areas where you are genuinely more skilled than others? This one is another major one. Looking at you, everybody knows that, oh, if I give maybe Mary something to do, she's extremely good at it. Like, everybody knows that you are good. You're very, very good. And in fact, everyone even looks down to you, but you yourself, you're you're not even like, you downplay your own, it's you downplay your own expertise. You don't even believe in yourself, even when people are even routing for you and everyone trusts and believe in you, but you don't even believe in yourself. That is another major sign of the sign that you have imposter syndrome. So I'll move on to the next slide. Now, why it's common in tech. Now, why is it common in tech? Now, in the tech industry, like I said earlier, the tech industry is mostly, dominated by men. Like, there are some organizations where it's a lot of men that are there. And then we as women, we feel, oh, this particular, I mean, I can't do this. This is a man's, I mean, this is a man's job, or this skill is meant for men and all that. So it's very common in tech. And then in the tech industry, you're surrounded by, high skilled people. Then there's a lot of competition. So this mindset of, oh, I may not be able to do this because this thing is for men. And meanwhile, there's no men and male, there's no women or men in any career area. It's just a mindset that people created, or should I say, it also came about maybe from our forefathers, from generation passed down to us, belittling women, saying that a woman cannot do this, a woman. So that mindset has actually grown, and it has grown with us. These are things that we need to actually unlearn, because this kind of thing can put you in a situation whereby you're working in a, let's say for instance, you as a woman, you're working in Google, or you got a job with Google, and then you start doubting yourself. You are doubting, even though, despite the fact that you have the skills, you have the abilities, you still doubt yourself, which is not meant to be so. So this is very common in the tech industry. So what we are saying is, what I'm saying today is, no matter where you find yourself, you should never doubt, you shouldn't doubt yourself in no matter wherever you are, your area of job, your skills. You should never doubt yourself, because you can do amazing things if only you could just realize that. So the impacts, now we're looking at impact of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome has actually created a lot of, negative impact in the lives of people, especially women. I won't just say women, but even though we are majorly looking at women, but it goes both ways. There are some men too that experience imposter syndrome. Now, this imposter syndrome, the impact it creates is that you experience stress and burnout. Then, apart from that, there's anxiety as well. There's depression. There's fear of, if there are opportunities, maybe if an opportunity comes, for example, someone sends you a link, oh, apply for this job, maybe with Amazon, you're doubting, you don't even want to take the opportunity because you feel, can I even do this? I don't think I can do this. I can't. You don't even when the opportunities are glaring at you, you don't take it because you're already at the stage of developing that imposter syndrome. And then reduce innovation or collaboration. This simply means you don't even want to take the step to learn, you don't want to develop yourself, or if there's anything that has to do with collaboration, you rather want to stay isolated. You don't want to, mingle. So all these things are all, there are signs of imposter syndrome, because the impact is so bad that it affects even your productivity, your work. Maybe if your performance was high before, it brings you down just because you just don't believe in yourself. So it has a really, really, really negative, the impacts are very, very, very high and very bad. So now we're going to be looking at, sorry, before I continue talking, do we have any question or is there anything you want to say? I've been talking. Is there anything? Does anyone want to say anything or do you have questions? Okay, I guess nobody has any question then. So we can take questions maybe after the presentation and we can discuss further. So now we're going to be looking at how do you reclaim your confidence? First one, how to reclaim your confidence. The first one, you need to challenge negative thoughts, replace them. For example, if you're the type that you keep like doubting yourself, you keep having these negative thoughts, you need to start saying positive things about yourself, because our mindset has already been wired towards negative thinking negatively. So we need to it this whole thing just starts from the mindset. You need to rewire your mindset. You need to start saying positive things about yourself. For example, if you feel you're not enough, you can, or I know people who write, maybe they write like a sticky note. It depends on what works for you. There are lots of people, either they write sticky notes, some look at the mirrors, talk to themselves, remind themselves, oh, I am enough, I am great, I'm growing. So you need to start rewiring your mind, replacing those negative thoughts with positive ones, because there's something that it does. If your mind is already predisposed to negative thinking, whereby you don't even think about anything good about yourself. In fact, that's where the challenges starts from. So you need to start, saying positive things about yourself. You need to change your mindset, and you need to keep telling yourself that you can do this, even no matter, even if you're working in, let's even assume you are in a male dominated area whereby you are the only woman, or you are among some high skill people that you feel okay, probably okay, they are more experienced than you. I mean, you need to keep telling yourself, I can do this. If you're placed among high skilled people, you should learn from them and not be having, not be feeling inferior that you cannot do this, or you feel, oh, I can't compete with these people. You're not there for any competition. And then the second one, I said, track your wins. If you can track your wins, you can keep a confidence log, or you can just, whatever ways. There are a lot of ways to track your wins. You can decide to be taking note of, okay, whatever progress you make, you track it down. Oh, I achieved this today, or I was given a task, or I did this. Just keep your, just put it in a like, create like a to-do list to track yourself, track your progress. Oh, I was given this today, I achieved this task, everything. And no matter what, even if you're given a task or you're given a job and you didn't do it well, that shouldn't put you down. you know as we all advance in our career journey, in our life journey, life generally is a learning phase. We learn every day. So because you feel in a particular task or in a particular job doesn't mean that you continue to fail. It's just a learning process. So if you have that mentality of oh, this is just a learning phase, no matter what, the kind of things you achieve, you even be surprised at yourself, at the your level of progress you make when you don't doubt yourself. And then the third one, I said, seek mentorship. For others, they will maybe want to seek mentorship. They would rather want to, like, okay, some might decide to seek for career guidance, or mentorship could be in your place of work, someone you are looking up to, maybe someone higher and more skillful than you are. You could learn from them. You could make them, oh, you could tell them, oh, can you please mentor me, or can you please teach me? Just let them just give you a guidance on how to, you know, go about everything instead of being and instead of doubting yourself or feeling down. You can just seek mentorship from among your peers, among your colleagues. And then the next one is, I said, speak about your achievements. A lot of people feel, oh, what's the point? Whatever you achieve, please speak about it. Even if it's a certification you've done, talk about it. Oh, you hit a particular milestone, you speak about it. Don't just keep silent. A lot of people have this, they have this mindset of, oh, I just want to be humble. Let me just humble. No, you're not being pride. It's not pride. There are people that want to shout, make noise, because of some people have different motives. But in this case, you're just talking about your achievement. So you should not be ashamed of speaking about your achievement. You shouldn't be ashamed of speaking about your milestones. It's very important. And then the last one, I said, remember, competence grows with patience. Sorry, competence grows with practice, not perfection. So, for you to be competent, you need to constantly keep practicing. It's not all about perfection. At the end of the day, nobody's looking for, oh, this person is perfect, or I'm looking for this person, that this person has to be perfect, extremely perfect. No, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking for competence. We're looking for what? Competence. So the end goal is your competence, not perfection. A lot of people compete, they have this competitive spirit that has actually derailed them, and the whole thing, the you just discover that your progress level is low. But once you take out the whole issue of being competitive, you see that you keep you keep achieving, you keep going high. So your competence level, and then your growth. So you need to keep learning. You need to keep achieving whatever it is you're achieving, and don't allow anyone to discourage you. No matter what, you have to keep going. Then the takeaway and action steps. 3 things you can start doing today, and then an action steps. Recognize imposter thoughts. Like we've already listed how to know that you have imposter syndrome. You need to recognize, and then one of the the major thing about the imposter thoughts, of course, is the negative thoughts. Like we said, you need to constantly be thinking positively. You need to reframe them with facts. And then, like we stated, reach out for support or mentorship. I mean, that's why we have a community like the Tech Eagle community, whereby we're always here for each other. We're always here to help each other, no matter your gender, whether you are a mom or you are whatever status it is that you are in. I mean, we don't have that gender diversification, or to say that, oh, okay, even men, whatever it is. So, and most especially as mothers too, some people feel, oh, because I'm a mom, I might not be able to do this. No, whether you're a mother, you're married, or whatever status you're in, you can basically do whatever it is that you need to do. So, in summary, or in general, now to summarize everything that I have said, that imposter syndrome affects a lot of people. It's one of the major factors that has affect people in careers, and then most especially women. So it's something that we need to, you know, we need to fight. We need to keep on telling ourselves that we can achieve whatever it is we want to achieve. We need to keep telling ourselves that whatever it is, or wherever, in whatever career that we find ourselves in, whether we're male or female, whatever we set our mind to, we can do it. So it just take for us to, all we just need to do is to have that faith, and we need to have that confidence in ourselves that we can achieve whatever it is we set our mind to. So, um, so basically, that's the end of my short presentation. I was trying to look at the time so that I don't talk too much and um take away all the time. So yes, we're open to questions or any contributions, anything you want to say, please. You are very much welcome and allowed. And you have questions, please, you can ask. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Victoria. I don't know, I'm not seeing you people's hand though. Is it that you did not learn anything? Me, I learned a lot though. Okay, Victoria actually shared a lot. I personally picked some points from what she has shared, and I believe that you people that are here also learned one or two. So it's time for question. If you have a question, okay, Fidelia, you have a question, please. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, please ask your question.
Fidelia, are you there?
Ah,
Oh, I guess
I
she
think
dropped
it's
off.
maybe she has network issues.
Yeah. Okay. Any question from anybody? Any question? Any comments?
Yeah.
Messi or Noja? You're giving us a thumbs up, or do you have something to say?
She's giving us a thumbs up.
You have something you want to say? You want to add? You want to ask question? Ask. Oh, we have this. Okay, Gambo.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So it's just a few points that I want to add.
All right.
Like, just to say that imposter syndrome happens to everyone, even the best out there, right? Like, someone made a post recently, and she's someone I look up to very well. Like, she's very hardworking. Like everything, I see her like everything is just going for her well. Then she made a post about imposter syndrome. I'm like, ah. And I went to her DM. I'm like, ah. So people like you experience this too. She's like, it's not like that. It happens to everybody. It happens to everyone, and you just have to keep believing in yourself, telling yourself those things that we take that thought out of your mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's just what I want to add.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Gambo,
you.
for that addition. And the truth is, yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about imposter syndrome. I've heard people, like people that you know are up there, right? So basically, imposter syndrome a is not specific to a certain level of people. It's not. It basically happens to anybody. It's just that your own level of imposter syndrome, it depends on where you have, how much you have grown, like where you have grown to. Do you understand? So what happens is, as you're growing, you are letting go of, like you are overcoming challenges, right? And so it helps you now be able to manage your own, the imposter syndrome that comes at the level where you currently are, because you've been able to overcome some of these challenges which you had grow on your way up. You know that, yes, if I can overcome this. So if basically you now use that, your past experience, as your own affirmation. If I was able to pass this step, I will pass this step. Do you understand? So that's the difference between somebody who is just starting and somebody who has gotten to a certain stage. Not that they've overgrown imposter syndrome, Nobody overgrows imposter syndrome. It's always there. As long as you want to do, you have a new challenge, you have something new that you've not done before, there's like, you will definitely have imposter syndrome. The way you now handles it is what now differentiates you, or whoever it is, or maybe the person is up there, from somebody that is just starting, right? And that's why, like you mentioned when you were talking, you said get a mentor or mentorship. That's why it's important to have mentors, right? Get mentorship, a community, a support system. Because if you face this challenge as somebody who is just starting, or who is just at maybe an intermediate level, when you face these challenges, if you have a mentor that you talk to, or you can share with, or maybe a community that you can actually run to, you would find people who have passed that stage, or maybe that your mentor have passed that level, so that person now helps you to overcome that imposter syndrome by telling you or sharing their story, basically. So sharing their
Yeah.
story helps you to now, be able to overcome your own imposter syndrome. And that's why it's important to have mentorship, community. Try to surround yourself with people who can actually help you in times like that, right? I mean, I'm an example. Even till today, I still have, in fact, I know that I cannot outgrow it. It's just yes, that's the honest truth. It just comes with the level of challenge you had that comes your way, depends on, what am I saying? Like, as you grow, basically, you face new challenges. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to keep growing, and part of growing is the part of as part of growing, you will keep seeing new things, you keep meeting new challenges. That's the growth we are talking about, actually.
Yeah.
So is you meeting a new challenge, overcoming that challenge. That's, you've grown a step ahead.
Yeah.
So the moment that challenge comes, before you overcome it, you will definitely get imposter syndrome. You will ask
Yeah.
yourself, are you sure I can do this? Can I do this? What if I fail? What if it doesn't go well? Even if it fails, you've learned something new. You
Yeah.
are not the person you were before you tried. So that's one thing you should. I remember the first time I did the first interview I ever had. Like, it was it was a disaster. And I know that it was imposter syndrome playing out, right? It was the first thing. It's not like I didn't have a job. I had a job, but I wanted a better job. And then, because the first job I was doing was like an internship, so I didn't do any interview. And then this was me. Immediately I joined the call, they they asked me, introduce yourself. I couldn't even introduce myself. Like, my voice was shaking, right? So, in fact, network came to my rescue. Network started breaking off, and then the person in charge now said, okay, I think we'll reschedule this interview. If you see the way I said thank God in my mind, I said, Jesus, thank you. So that's how they ended the call. To be honest with you, first, they never called back, right? Secondly, but I learned something. I took out something from that experience. I told myself, like I swore to myself, that I would never go into an interview again scared. I told myself, what's the worst that can happen? Like, what's the worst that can happen if nobody's going to beat me? It's not like any of them there is going to beat me or flog me if I answer the question wrongly, or if I do anything wrongly.